Millionaire ignores orphan girl. Then she says this, the truth changes his life forever. Robert Maxwell, a titan of Wall Street, surveyed the sprawling cityscape from his penthouse office, a kingdom of glass and steel reflecting the vastness of his financial empire. His name, a byword for success, echoed through the corridors of power, his every move scrutinized by investors, analysts, and the ever-watchful eyes of the media. He was a master of the universe, a self-made billionaire who had conquered the world of finance with his sharp intellect, calculated risks, and relentless ambition. Yet, beneath the impeccably tailored suits and the aura of invincibility, Robert harbored a deep-seated loneliness, a void that his fortune couldn't fill. His life, a whirlwind of high-powered meetings, exclusive galas, and private jet journeys, was a gilded cage, isolating him from the genuine human connection he craved. His childhood had been a stark contrast to his current life of opulence and privilege. Abandoned at the tender age of 5, he had spent his formative years navigating the labyrinthine world of foster care, a transient existence devoid of stability and love. He had learned to be self-sufficient, relying on his intellect and ambition to escape the cycle of poverty and uncertainty that had ensnared his parents. He had devoured books with a voracious appetite, seeking knowledge and escape in their pages. He had excelled in school, his academic achievements a beacon of hope in a world that often seemed bleak and unforgiving. He had clawed his way to the top, driven by a relentless hunger for success, a desire to prove his worth to a world that had once discarded him. But his relentless pursuit of wealth had come at a cost. His personal life was a barren landscape, his relationships fleeting and superficial, devoid of the intimacy and vulnerability he secretly yearned for. His first marriage, a union founded on ambition and convenience rather than love, had ended in a bitter divorce, the scars of betrayal and resentment still lingering. His subsequent attempts at romance had fizzled out, extinguished by his inability to let down his guard, to trust, to truly connect with another human being. He had built walls around his heart, fortifications designed to protect him from the pain of abandonment and the vulnerability of human connection. Despite his material abundance, Robert felt an emptiness gnawing at his soul, a persistent ache that no amount of wealth or success could alleviate. He yearned for connection, for a sense of belonging, for something more meaningful than the acquisition of wealth and power. He longed to fill the void that had haunted him since childhood, the void left by the absence of family and love. He had tried to fill that void with work, with philanthropy, with fleeting romances, but nothing could quell the yearning in his heart, the longing for a connection that transcended the transactional nature of his world. One dreary December afternoon, as the city braced itself for the impending onslaught of winter, Robert found himself unexpectedly drawn to a local orphanage. He had been driving past the unassuming brick building, its windows glowing warmly in the gathering dusk, when a wave of nostalgia washed over him, a poignant reminder of his own childhood spent in similar institutions. On a whim, he decided to stop, his curiosity piqued by a desire to connect with a past he had long suppressed, a past that had shaped him but that he had rarely acknowledged. He parked his sleek limousine outside the orphanage gates, its gleaming chrome and tinted windows a stark contrast to the modest surroundings. He stepped out of the car, the crisp winter air biting at his face, and walked towards the building, his footsteps echoing in the hushed silence. As he entered the modest lobby, its walls adorned with children's artwork and cheerful decorations, he was greeted by a cacophony of sounds. The joyful shrieks of children playing, the comforting murmur of conversations, the clatter of toys and the rhythmic thump of a basketball. The sounds, both familiar and alien, stirred something within him, a long dormant chord resonating with a mixture of nostalgia and apprehension. He approached the reception desk, his demeanor a blend of confidence and uncertainty, and introduced himself to the orphanage director. The director, a kind-faced woman with a warm smile and gentle eyes, greeted him with genuine warmth, her demeanor a stark contrast to the formality and guardedness he was accustomed to in his world of high finance. He expressed his interest in learning more about the children and the orphanage's work, his curiosity tinged with a hint of trepidation. The director, delighted by his unexpected visit and his genuine interest, offered to give him a tour of the facility. She led him through the brightly decorated hallways, her voice a soothing counterpoint to the cacophony of children's laughter and playful banter. Robert observed the children with a mixture of fascination and longing. He watched them playing games, their faces lit up with joy and innocence, their laughter echoing through the hallways like a melody of carefree happiness. He felt a pang of yearning, a wistful ache for the simple pleasures that had eluded him throughout his life. Suddenly, a small girl with bright blue eyes and a mischievous grin broke away from a group of children and ran towards him, her arms outstretched, her laughter echoing through the hallway. "I know you," she exclaimed, her voice filled with excitement and a hint of wonder. "You're my daddy." Robert froze, his heart pounding in his chest, his mind reeling from her unexpected declaration. He stared at the girl, his eyes searching hers, his mind trying to reconcile her words with the reality of his life. He had never seen this child before, yet her words struck a chord deep within him, a chord that resonated with a long-forgotten yearning, a primal connection he couldn't deny. I don't understand," he stammered, his voice betraying his confusion and apprehension. "I've never met you before." The girl, undeterred by his denial, continued to insist that he was her father. She described a man who looked just like him, a man with kind eyes and a warm smile, a man who had visited her a few times when she was younger, a man who had brought her toys and told her stories, a man who had promised to return but never did. Robert listened intently, his mind racing through the possibilities, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. He had never had children, at least not that he knew of. But the girl's insistence, her detailed description of a man who bore an uncanny resemblance to him, planted a seed of doubt in his mind, a seed that quickly took root and blossomed into a terrifying possibility. Could it be possible that he had a child he had never known about? The thought sent a shiver down his spine, a mixture of fear and excitement coursing through his veins. He had spent his life building walls around his heart, protecting himself from the vulnerability of human connection. But this little girl, with her bright eyes and unwavering conviction, threatened to tear those walls down. As Ethan settled into the unfamiliar comfort of Dr. Walsh's home, a world away from the harsh realities of street life, he began to learn more about the woman who had so unexpectedly opened her heart and home to him. He discovered that she, too, had faced hardship in her youth, a revelation that forged a deeper connection between them. Dr. Walsh, a woman of quiet strength and unwavering compassion, had lost her parents in a tragic car accident when she was just a young girl. The sudden loss had shattered her world, leaving her with a profound sense of grief and vulnerability. But amidst the darkness, she had found solace in the love and support of her grandmother, a woman of unwavering faith and resilience. Her grandmother, a pillar of strength and wisdom, had instilled in her the values of compassion, empathy, and service to others. These values had guided Dr. Walsh throughout her life, shaping her career as a pediatrician and her dedication to helping vulnerable children. Ethan, listening to Dr. Walsh's story, felt a deep sense of connection, a recognition of shared experiences and a kinship forged in the crucible of adversity. He had never known the love of a parent, the security of a stable home, but he saw in Dr. Walsh a reflection of the nurturing and support he had always craved. This shared experience of loss and resilience fostered a profound bond between Ethan and Dr. Walsh, a connection that transcended their different backgrounds and life experiences. They found solace in each other's company, sharing stories, laughter, and quiet moments of reflection. Dr. Walsh, with her keen intuition and compassionate heart, saw the potential in Ethan, a bright spark hidden beneath the grime and hardship of his life on the streets. She recognized his intelligence, his resilience, and his innate kindness. She believed that with the right support and guidance, he could overcome his challenges and achieve his full potential. She enrolled him in a local school, a welcoming and inclusive environment where he could learn and grow alongside other children his age. The school, a beacon of diversity and acceptance, embraced Ethan with open arms, its teachers and staff recognizing his eagerness to learn and his thirst for knowledge. Dr. Walsh provided him with books, educational games, and a quiet space to study, fostering his intellectual curiosity and encouraging his academic pursuits. She also encouraged him to explore his interests, enrolling him in after-school programs and extracurricular activities that nurtured his creativity and social skills. Ethan, eager to prove himself worthy of Dr. Walsh's kindness and support, excelled in his studies. He devoured books with a voracious appetite, his mind absorbing information like a sponge. He participated actively in class, his insightful questions and thoughtful observations impressing his teachers and classmates alike. He discovered a love for mathematics, its logic and precision resonating with his analytical mind. He found joy in literature, immersing himself in stories of adventure, heroism, and the human condition. He explored the world of science, fascinated by the intricate workings of the natural world. One afternoon, while walking home from school, Ethan witnessed a disturbing scene that would further shape his understanding of the world and his place in it. A group of older boys, their faces contorted with malice, were surrounding a younger child, their taunts and shoves echoing through the quiet residential street. The younger child, his eyes filled with fear, cowered under their relentless bullying, his small frame trembling with a mixture of terror and humiliation. The bullies, their laughter echoing cruelly, seemed to revel in their power, their cruelty a stark contrast to the peaceful atmosphere of the neighborhood. Ethan, his own experiences of vulnerability and powerlessness still fresh in his mind, felt a surge of anger and empathy. He remembered the countless times he had been the target of bullies, the fear and humiliation that had consumed him. He recognized the pain in the younger child's eyes, the desperation in his trembling form. Without hesitation, he intervened, his small stature belying his courage and determination. He stepped between the bullies and their victim, his voice firm and unwavering as he demanded they leave the younger child alone. "Leave him alone!" he shouted, his voice echoing through the street, cutting through the bullies' laughter like a shard of glass. "What do you think you're doing? Picking on someone smaller than you? That's not cool." The bullies, surprised by Ethan's defiance, hesitated, their bravado momentarily faltering. They sized him up, their eyes assessing his threat level, their minds underestimating his courage and determination. But Ethan stood his ground, his gaze unwavering, his voice filled with a righteous anger that surprised even himself. He had spent years surviving, adapting, and enduring, but now he saw a new purpose, a new direction for his life. He would not stand idly by while others were being victimized. The bullies, their initial aggression waning in the face of Ethan's unexpected intervention, muttered threats and insults as they retreated, their bravado replaced by a grudging respect for the smaller boy who had dared to challenge them. The younger child, his eyes filled with gratitude and admiration, looked up at Ethan, his fear replaced by a newfound sense of safety and security. In that moment, Ethan realized the power of his actions, the impact he could have on others, even as a young boy who had once been homeless and alone. This realization, this discovery of his own strength and compassion, marked a turning point in Ethan's life. He had found a new purpose, a new direction for his resilience and empathy. He would become a protector, a champion for those who were vulnerable and oppressed. He began to see the world differently, his eyes open to the injustices and inequalities that plagued society. He saw the suffering of the homeless, the marginalized, the forgotten. He felt a deep sense of responsibility to use his newfound strength and compassion to make a difference, to be a voice for the voiceless, a champion for the underdog. He began to pay closer attention to the news, reading about social issues, political debates, and humanitarian crises. He learned about the struggles of marginalized communities, the systemic inequalities that perpetuated poverty and injustice. He felt a growing sense of urgency, a desire to contribute to a more just and equitable world. He also began to explore his own identity, his sense of self shaped by his experiences of abandonment, foster care, and homelessness. He delved into books about psychology, sociology, and philosophy, seeking to understand the complexities of human behavior and the forces that shape our lives. He reflected on his own journey, the challenges he had overcome, the resilience he had developed, and the compassion he had discovered within himself. He realized that his experiences, while painful and challenging, had also made him stronger, more empathetic, and more determined to make a positive impact on the world. He began to see his past not as a source of shame or weakness, but as a source of strength and inspiration. He embraced his identity as a survivor, a champion for those who had been marginalized and forgotten. He discovered a sense of purpose, a calling to use his experiences and his newfound knowledge to create a better world. Robert, armed with the knowledge of his daughter's existence and a heart heavy with a mixture of guilt and hope, returned to the orphanage. This time, he wasn't a curious visitor, but a father seeking to connect with his long-lost child. He met with the director, his demeanor a blend of humility and determination, sharing the revelation of his paternity and expressing his desire to build a relationship with his daughter. The director, initially surprised by this unexpected turn of events, was touched by Robert's sincerity and his willingness to embrace his newfound responsibility. She had witnessed countless cases of abandonment and neglect, and Robert's genuine desire to connect with his daughter was a welcome change. She carefully explained the process, emphasizing the importance of a gradual and sensitive approach to building a relationship with a child who had experienced loss and uncertainty. She arranged a meeting between Robert and his daughter, a carefully orchestrated encounter designed to foster a connection between the two strangers bound by blood. The meeting took place in a cozy playroom, its brightly colored walls and cheerful toys offering a comforting backdrop to the emotionally charged encounter. Robert entered the room, his eyes searching for his daughter, his heart pounding with a mixture of anticipation and apprehension. He saw her sitting in a corner, her small frame curled up in a chair, her blue eyes filled with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. She was clutching a well-worn teddy bear, its fur rubbed thin with love and comfort. He approached her slowly, his footsteps muffled by the soft carpet, his voice gentle and reassuring. "Hello," he said, his voice betraying a hint of nervousness. "My name is Robert. I'm your father." The girl looked up at him, her eyes widening in surprise. She had been told that her father would be visiting, but she hadn't expected him to look so much like the man in her memories. The man with kind eyes and a warm smile. The man who had promised to return but never did. "Daddy?" she whispered, her voice barely audible, a mixture of hope and disbelief coloring her tone. Robert nodded, his heart swelling with emotion, a tear escaping his eye and tracing a path down his cheek. "Yes," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I'm your daddy." He sat down beside her, his awkwardness evident as he struggled to find the right words, the language of fatherhood foreign to him. He told her about his life, his work, his regrets. He explained why he had been absent from her life, his voice filled with remorse and a yearning to make amends. He spoke of his own childhood, his experiences in foster care, his struggles with loneliness and insecurity. He shared his vulnerabilities, hoping to bridge the gap between them, to create a connection that transcended the years of separation and the circumstances of their meeting. The girl listened intently, her eyes absorbing every word, her mind trying to reconcile the image of this successful, powerful man with the father she had longed for. She asked him questions, her curiosity overcoming her shyness, her voice gaining confidence with each passing moment. Robert answered her questions patiently, his heart warming with each shared moment, each tentative smile, each spark of recognition in her eyes. He felt a connection to her, a bond that transcended the years of separation and the circumstances of their meeting. He felt a love he had never known before, a paternal love that filled the void in his heart. He decided then and there that he would take her out of the orphanage, that he would provide her with a loving home and the stability she had never known. He would give her the childhood he had been denied, the love and support he had always craved. He arranged for her to move into his spacious mansion, a world away from the modest confines of the orphanage. He hired a team of nannies, tutors, and therapists to cater to her needs and help her adjust to her new life. He wanted to give her the best of everything, to compensate for the years of deprivation and uncertainty. The consequences of his decision were both profound and challenging. Robert's life, once defined by work and solitude, was now filled with the joys and challenges of parenthood. He had to learn to balance his demanding career with his newfound responsibilities as a father, a role he was ill-prepared for. He struggled to connect with his daughter, their vastly different backgrounds and life experiences creating a chasm between them. He was used to the world of finance, of logic and calculation, while she was a child of emotions, of intuition and imagination. He made mistakes, his attempts at parenting often clumsy and misguided. He showered her with material possessions, hoping to compensate for his years of absence, but she craved his time, his attention, his love. He learned to adapt, to listen, to understand. He discovered the joy of bedtime stories, the laughter of shared moments, the warmth of a hug. He began to see the world through her eyes, his perspective shifting, his priorities realigning. He learned to be patient, to forgive her missteps, to guide her with love and understanding. He learned to celebrate her successes, to comfort her in her disappointments, to be the father she needed him to be. His world, once defined by the pursuit of wealth and power, now revolved around his daughter, her laughter filling his home, her love filling his heart. He had found a purpose beyond himself, a love that transcended his wildest dreams. News of Robert's newfound fatherhood spread like wildfire through his social circles, creating ripples of surprise, speculation, and a healthy dose of skepticism. His business associates, accustomed to his solitary lifestyle and laser focus on his work, were baffled by his sudden transformation. They whispered behind his back, questioning his motives, his ability to be a good father, and the impact this unexpected development would have on his business acumen. His ex-wife, still harboring resentment from their bitter divorce, was particularly vocal in her criticism. She questioned his sincerity, his commitment to his newfound responsibilities, and his ability to provide a stable and loving environment for their daughter. She painted a picture of Robert as a neglectful and selfish man, driven by greed and ambition, incapable of the love and compassion required to be a good father. The media, always eager for a sensational story, seized upon the revelation, their headlines screaming about the billionaire's secret love child and the orphan who inherited a fortune. They questioned his sincerity, his commitment to his newfound responsibilities, and the impact this unexpected development would have on his business empire. Robert, initially defensive, bristling at the intrusion into his private life and the unfair portrayal of his character, soon realized that the media frenzy was a distraction from what truly mattered: his relationship with his daughter. He decided to ignore the gossip and speculation, focusing instead on building a bond with the child he had only just met. He shielded his daughter from the media glare, protecting her from the intrusive questions and the harsh judgments. He hired a public relations team to manage the media narrative, deflecting the negative attention and emphasizing his commitment to his daughter's well-being. He wanted to create a safe and nurturing environment for her, free from the prying eyes and judgmental whispers of the outside world. He also had to deal with the legal ramifications of his paternity. The orphanage, while supportive of his desire to be a father to his daughter, had a responsibility to ensure her welfare. They conducted thorough background checks, interviewed Robert extensively, and monitored his interactions with his daughter to ensure that she was safe and well cared for. Robert, initially frustrated by the scrutiny, the endless paperwork, and the intrusive questions, eventually came to appreciate the orphanage's diligence. He understood their concerns, their desire to protect a vulnerable child who had already experienced so much loss and uncertainty. He cooperated fully, patiently answering their questions, providing them with the necessary documentation, and demonstrating his commitment to being a responsible and loving father. The secondary plot development, while challenging and disruptive, ultimately served to strengthen Robert's resolve to be a good father. It forced him to confront his past, to acknowledge his mistakes, and to demonstrate his commitment to his daughter's well-being. It also highlighted the complexities of navigating the public eye, the challenges of balancing privacy and public image, and the importance of prioritizing his daughter's needs above all else. Robert's relationship with his daughter, initially tentative and awkward, a dance between two strangers bound by blood but separated by years of circumstance, gradually blossomed into a loving and supportive bond. He learned to connect with her on her level, to step outside his world of logic and calculation and enter her world of emotions, imagination, and wonder. He discovered the joy of shared activities, from reading bedtime stories, their voices intertwining in the quiet intimacy of her bedroom, to playing games in the park, their laughter echoing through the trees, to exploring museums and art galleries, their eyes wide with curiosity and wonder. He learned to listen to her, to truly hear her thoughts and feelings, to value her opinions, and to encourage her dreams, no matter how fantastical or far-fetched. He also learned to be vulnerable with her, sharing his own experiences of growing up in foster care, his struggles with loneliness and insecurity, his fears and regrets. He found solace in her unconditional love, her acceptance of his flaws and imperfections, her ability to see the man beneath the mask of success and power. His daughter, in turn, came to trust and love her newfound father. She appreciated his efforts to connect with her, his willingness to learn and grow as a parent, his genuine desire to be a part of her life. She found in him a source of stability, security, and unconditional love, the father she had always longed for. She delighted in their shared moments, the bedtime stories that transported them to magical worlds, the playful banter that filled their home with laughter, the quiet moments of connection when they simply enjoyed each other's company. She cherished his presence at her school events, his pride in her achievements radiating through his every smile and gesture. Their relationship was not without its challenges. Robert's demanding career often took him away from home, leaving his daughter feeling neglected and abandoned, a painful echo of her early childhood experiences. He had to learn to balance his work commitments with his responsibilities as a father, to prioritize his daughter's needs above his own ambitions. He struggled with guilt, the weight of his past absence casting a shadow over their newfound bond. He had missed so many milestones, so many precious moments, and he feared that he could never truly make up for lost time. But his daughter, with her forgiving heart and unwavering love, reassured him that he was exactly where he needed to be, that his presence in her life was a gift, a treasure she cherished. He also had to deal with the emotional baggage of his own childhood, the lingering pain of abandonment and the fear of intimacy that had shaped his adult relationships. He sought therapy, working through his past traumas and developing healthier coping mechanisms. He learned to trust, to open up, to allow himself to be vulnerable, to experience the full spectrum of human emotions without fear or reservation. Through patience, understanding, and a shared commitment to building a loving relationship, Robert and his daughter overcame the challenges they faced. They created a bond that transcended the years of separation and the circumstances of their meeting, a bond that would forever change their lives. They learned to communicate openly and honestly, sharing their thoughts, feelings, and experiences. They learned to respect each other's boundaries, to appreciate each other's strengths, and to support each other through challenges. They learned to forgive, to let go of past hurts, and to embrace the present with gratitude and love. Their relationship became a source of strength and joy for both of them, a testament to the healing power of love and the transformative potential of human connection. One glittering evening, Robert decided to introduce his daughter to his world, the world of high society and philanthropy. He invited her to accompany him to a prestigious charity gala, a glamorous event attended by the city's elite, a gathering of influential figures from the worlds of business, politics, and entertainment. Robert, his heart swelling with pride, watched as his daughter, dressed in a beautiful gown, navigated the ballroom with grace and confidence. She charmed the guests with her intelligence, her wit, and her genuine warmth. He saw in her a reflection of himself, but also something more, a spark of compassion and empathy that he had only recently discovered within himself. As the evening progressed, a hush fell over the crowd as a prominent philanthropist took the stage to announce a major donation to a children's hospital. Robert, his heart filled with a newfound sense of social responsibility, decided to make a surprise announcement of his own. He took the stage, his daughter by his side, and announced the establishment of a foundation in her name, a foundation dedicated to supporting orphans and foster children. providing them with educational opportunities, mentorship programs, and the resources they needed to thrive. The announcement was met with thunderous applause, the guests inspired by Robert's generosity and his commitment to making a difference in the lives of vulnerable children. His daughter, her eyes shining with pride and gratitude, beamed at him, her heart overflowing with love for the father who had not only embraced her, but also dedicated his resources to helping others like her. As the applause subsided, a figure emerged from the crowd, her face contorted with a mixture of anger and resentment. It was Robert's ex-wife, her eyes blazing with a fury that had simmered for years. She approached the stage, her footsteps echoing through the hushed ballroom, her voice cutting through the celebratory atmosphere. "Robert Maxwell," she hissed, her voice dripping with venom. "You neglectful, heartless excuse for a father." She launched into a tirade, accusing him of abandoning their marriage, neglecting his responsibilities, and only now, years later, feigning concern for his daughter. She painted a picture of him as a selfish and manipulative man, driven by greed and ambition, incapable of genuine love and compassion. Her words, fueled by years of bitterness and jealousy, cut deep, undermining Robert's efforts to rebuild his reputation and his relationship with his daughter. The guests, their initial admiration replaced by shock and discomfort, watched in stunned silence as the drama unfolded. Robert, caught off guard, struggled to defend himself. He felt a surge of anger, a desire to retaliate, to expose her own flaws and shortcomings. But he caught a glimpse of his daughter's face, her eyes filled with confusion and hurt, her smile replaced by a trembling lip and tears welling up. He realized that a public confrontation would only serve to hurt his daughter, to damage the fragile trust they had built. He took a deep breath, calming his anger, and chose a different path. He addressed his ex-wife calmly and respectfully, acknowledging her pain and expressing his regret for the hurt he had caused during their marriage. He emphasized his commitment to his daughter, his determination to be a good father, to make up for lost time, and to provide her with the love and stability she deserved. His words, spoken with sincerity and compassion, disarmed his ex-wife. She, momentarily speechless, realized the futility of her anger and the damage she was causing. She saw the genuine change in him, the newfound maturity and compassion that radiated from his eyes. She retreated, her anger replaced by a grudging respect for Robert's newfound commitment to his daughter and his willingness to acknowledge his past mistakes. The incident, while emotionally challenging, served as a turning point in Robert's relationship with his daughter. It demonstrated his growth as a person and his unwavering commitment to his daughter's well-being. It also solidified their bond, their shared experience forging a deeper connection, a shared understanding of the complexities of family and forgiveness. In the aftermath of the gala incident, Robert sought to repair the damage to his reputation and to strengthen his relationship with his daughter. He understood that his ex-wife's outburst, while fueled by her own unresolved pain, had exposed vulnerabilities and insecurities that he needed to address. He continued to prioritize his daughter's needs, spending quality time with her, attending her school events, and supporting her interests. He made a conscious effort to be more present in her life, limiting his work commitments and delegating tasks to his employees. He created a more balanced lifestyle, one that prioritized family and personal connections over the pursuit of wealth and power. He also sought to address the lingering resentment from his ex-wife. He initiated a dialogue, reaching out to her with a sincere desire to understand her perspective and to find a way to co-parent their daughter amicably. He expressed his regret for his past mistakes, his neglect of their marriage, and his failure to be present in their daughter's life. He acknowledged her concerns, her fears, and her anger, validating her emotions and demonstrating his willingness to listen and learn. He offered to involve her more in their daughter's life, to create a shared parenting plan that prioritized their daughter's well-being and fostered a sense of stability and consistency. His ex-wife, initially skeptical, her heart guarded by years of hurt and disappointment, gradually warmed to Robert's efforts. She saw the genuine change in him, his newfound maturity and his unwavering commitment to his daughter. She began to trust him, to appreciate his efforts to co-parent effectively, and to recognize that his love for their daughter was genuine and unconditional. They worked together to create a parenting plan that met their daughter's needs, ensuring that she felt loved and supported by both parents. They attended school events together, their shared pride in their daughter's achievements bridging the gap between them. They celebrated holidays as a family, creating new traditions and memories that would last a lifetime. They communicated openly and respectfully about their daughter's development and well-being, their shared commitment to her happiness transcending their past conflicts. Robert's efforts to resolve the conflict with his ex-wife not only benefited his daughter but also contributed to his own personal growth. He learned the importance of communication, compromise, and forgiveness. He discovered the healing power of letting go of past resentments and embracing a more positive and collaborative approach to relationships. He realized that forgiveness was not about condoning past mistakes but about freeing himself from the shackles of bitterness and resentment. It was about choosing to move forward with compassion and understanding, creating a more positive and harmonious environment for himself and his daughter. He also learned the importance of setting boundaries, of protecting his emotional well-being, while still maintaining a respectful and cooperative relationship with his ex-wife. He learned to communicate his needs clearly and assertively, to stand up for himself without resorting to anger or aggression. His journey towards conflict resolution was not without its challenges. There were moments of doubt, setbacks, and resurgences of old patterns. But Robert persevered, driven by his love for his daughter and his commitment to creating a healthy and supportive family environment. The gala incident, despite its initial turmoil, served as a catalyst for profound change in Robert's life. It forced him to confront his past, to acknowledge his shortcomings, and to reevaluate his priorities. He realized that his relentless pursuit of wealth and power had left him emotionally bankrupt, his life devoid of the genuine human connection he craved. His newfound focus on family and personal connections led him to reevaluate his definition of success. He realized that true fulfillment lay not in the accumulation of wealth and power but in the richness of human relationships and the positive impact he could have on others. He decided to step down from his high-powered position as CEO of his company, a decision that sent shockwaves through the financial world. He delegated his responsibilities to a trusted team of executives, individuals he had mentored and groomed for leadership, confident in their ability to steer the company towards continued success. He wanted to dedicate more time to his daughter, to nurture their burgeoning relationship, to be present for the milestones he had missed, and to create a future filled with shared experiences and unconditional love. He wanted to be the father she deserved, the father he had never had. He also wanted to explore new avenues for personal and professional growth. He had spent his life immersed in the world of finance, his identity intertwined with his success in the corporate arena. Now, he sought to redefine himself, to discover new passions and pursue new challenges. He became involved in philanthropic endeavors, using his wealth and influence to support causes that aligned with his values. He funded educational initiatives, providing scholarships and resources to underprivileged students, opening doors to opportunities that had been denied to him as a child. He supported homeless shelters, donating generously to organizations that provided shelter, food, and support services to those living on the margins. He remembered his own experiences of instability and uncertainty, his empathy fueling his desire to help others escape the cycle of poverty and homelessness. He donated to organizations that promoted social justice and equality, his newfound awareness of social inequalities driving him to contribute to a more just and equitable society. He used his platform to advocate for change, speaking out against discrimination and injustice, lending his voice to those who were often silenced. He also discovered a passion for mentoring young people, sharing his experiences and insights to guide and inspire them. He found fulfillment in helping others achieve their potential, in contributing to the betterment of society, in leaving a legacy that extended beyond his financial achievements. He mentored young entrepreneurs, offering guidance and support as they navigated the challenges of starting and growing businesses. He shared his knowledge of finance, his insights into leadership, and his hard-won wisdom about the importance of integrity and ethical conduct. He mentored at-risk youth, offering them a positive role model and a listening ear. He shared his story of overcoming adversity, his journey from an abandoned child to a successful businessman and compassionate philanthropist. He encouraged them to pursue their dreams, to believe in themselves, and to make a positive impact on the world. His turning point marked a shift from a life driven by ambition and material pursuits to a life guided by compassion, connection, and a desire to make a positive impact on the world. He had discovered that true wealth lay not in the size of his bank account, but in the richness of his relationships and the positive impact he had on the lives of others. Robert's journey from a lonely millionaire to a loving father and compassionate philanthropist was a testament to his capacity for growth and transformation. He had confronted his past, embraced his newfound responsibilities, and discovered the true meaning of fulfillment. He had learned the importance of human connection, the value of family and love. He had discovered the joy of giving back, the satisfaction of making a positive impact on others. He had learned to let go of past resentments, to forgive himself and others, to embrace a more compassionate and understanding approach to life. Reflecting on his journey, Robert recognized the transformative power of love and connection. He had discovered that true wealth lay not in material possessions but in the richness of human relationships and the positive impact he could have on the world. He had learned to appreciate the simple things in life, the joy of shared moments, the warmth of human connection, the satisfaction of making a difference. He had found a sense of peace and contentment he had never known before, a fulfillment that transcended the trappings of wealth and power. He had also learned the importance of vulnerability, of allowing himself to be seen and known, to connect with others on a deeper level. He had shed the armor he had worn for so long, the protective shell that had shielded him from the pain of abandonment and the fear of intimacy. He had embraced his emotions, his fears, his vulnerabilities, and in doing so, he had discovered a strength and resilience he had never known before. He had learned to trust, to love, to connect, to be fully human. He was grateful for the challenges he had faced, the lessons he had learned, and the growth he had experienced. He had come to appreciate the journey, the detours and setbacks that had led him to this place of peace and fulfillment. He was grateful for his daughter, the unexpected gift that had opened his heart and transformed his life. He cherished their bond, their shared laughter, their quiet moments of connection, their mutual love and support. He was grateful for the opportunity to make a difference in the world, to use his wealth and influence to create positive change. He found joy in supporting causes that aligned with his values, in mentoring young people, in contributing to a more just and equitable society. He had discovered that true success lay not in the accumulation of wealth and power, but in the richness of human connection and the positive impact he had on the lives of others. He had found his purpose, his passion, his legacy. Robert's story is a testament to the transformative power of love, family, and human connection. It highlights the importance of embracing our past, confronting our fears, and prioritizing the things that truly matter. His journey from a lonely millionaire to a loving father and compassionate philanthropist underscores the importance of finding meaning and purpose beyond material pursuits. It reminds us that true fulfillment lies in the richness of human relationships and the positive impact we can have on the world. Robert's story is an inspiration to us all, a reminder that it is never too late to change, to grow, and to embrace the possibility of a more fulfilling life. It is a story about the power of love to heal, to connect, and to transform. A story that reminds us that true wealth lies in the richness of human connection and the positive impact we have on the world. It is a story that challenges us to reevaluate our own priorities, to look beyond the pursuit of material wealth and status, and to seek fulfillment in the connections we forge with others and the contributions we make to the world around us. Robert's story reminds us that we all have the potential for growth and transformation, that even those who seem to have it all may be harboring deep-seated longings and unfulfilled needs. It encourages us to embrace vulnerability, to connect with others on a deeper level, and to seek the love and belonging that we all crave. It is a story that celebrates the resilience of the human spirit, the ability to overcome adversity, to learn from our mistakes, and to emerge stronger and more compassionate. It reminds us that even in the face of challenges and setbacks, we can find the strength to change, to grow, and to create a more fulfilling life for ourselves and for those around us. Robert's story is a beacon of hope, a reminder that it is never too late to find love, to build a family, and to make a positive impact on the world. It is a story that inspires us to embrace our potential, to connect with others, and to live a life filled with purpose, meaning, and love.